With the meteoric rise in the cost of living, saving money has become a real challenge for millions of people. There are endless demands on our money: housing, utilities, insurance, childcare, debt, just to name a few. Oh, and don't forget the unexpected emergencies, like paying a $500 deductible after someone hit your car and then fled the scene. It feels like every time you truly commit to saving, there's a more pressing and urgent thing to pay for. It's no wonder why 50% of Americans have less than $500 in savings. In the past, saving seemed impossible, but what if I told you there's an easy and simple way to save money? A method that ensures you will save $10,000 in 365 days. In this video, I'll share with you the step-by-step guide on how to save $10K in a year. Implementing each of these steps will move you one step closer to financial freedom. I've simplified this method into 3 actionable steps. I know these rules work because they've been tried and tested. I use them to save $10K 3 different times. But first, allow me to introduce myself. This is Gage St, your financial safe space. And as for me, I'm a passionate financial strategist, encouraging and empowering busy career professionals to manage their money intentionally. My name is Free, and you're important to me. April 1st, 1976, 2 Steves had a lofty vision of changing the way people use computers. Back in the 70s, computers were huge, taking up entire rooms and mainly only used in large companies. But the Steves wanted to make computers small enough for people to use in their homes, the world's first personal computer. So, to bring their goal to reality, they built a prototype, the world's first personal computer, dubbed the Apple I, that sold for $666.66. Yeah, I know. Step 1 to saving $10K easily is to prove the concept. But first, let's make sure we're aware of our savings target. On a weekly, monthly, and daily basis, it's important to know, what do I need to save number-wise to actually hit my $10K goal? Saving $834 a month, $193 a week, or $28 a day will leave you with $10,000 a year from now. And now that we have the savings targets, let's prove the idea will work by reviewing your personal spending. Download all of your checking account statements. Now, whether you have 1 account or 5 accounts, download your checking statements for the last 30 days of activity. I personally recommend using Excel or Google Sheets just because it'll make it easier to review and do some calculations. The downloaded file should include the transaction date, the amount, and a description at the very least. The next thing I want you to do is highlight all non-essential purchases. Once you've downloaded the statements, go through and review your spending and highlight any purchase or any transaction that is non-essential. Non-essential is going to be any nice to have or comfort or lifestyle purchase. Think eating out, festivals, concerts, travel, shopping, buying clothes. Non-essential is any expense that is not crucial or critical for your survival. Now, because I have actually gone through this exercise, I want to share a little pro tip with you. As humans, naturally, what we may tend to do as you're going through and highlighting non-essential purchase is try to rationalize or justify something that is non-essential as essential for the purposes of leaving it out. Don't do that. Now is the time to really take a step back and be objective, or as objective as you can, in identifying anything that is a want transaction, something that you didn't necessarily need, but it made your life more enjoyable. And I'll tell you why that's so important in just a second. Total all of your non-essential purchases, keeping the saving targets from before in mind. This should reveal 2 things. 1, where your money is going. After going through this exercise, you should have a clear picture on where you're spending your disposable income. And more importantly, what this exercise will tell you is whether or not you have the money to actually hit your $10K goal. Doing each of these steps is helping you prove the concept of saving $10K in a year. Because if you don't make or spend $10,000, you can't save $10,000. After you've totaled all of your non-essential purchases, you'll be in one of 2 categories. The first category is that your number is above $834. Now, this isn't a good or bad thing. It just essentially tells me and should tell you that you make and spend more than the $834 to actually reach the goal. So in actuality, it's good news, because all you have to do is redirect at least $834 a month from spending to savings. Simple. The second category is that the total non-essential purchases is less than $834. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing because it just proves that you're a more conservative spender, right? Which can be good. However, what's important to note here is that any difference between what you redirect towards savings and that $834, you'll need to make up an additional income. So let's put some numbers behind it. Let's say after you've totaled all of your non-essential purchases, it is $650, okay? And you decide out of that $650, I'm going to redirect $400 to my savings. Keeping in mind that $400 a month, our goal is $834. Looking at the difference, you'll need to make $434 in additional income, redirect that to your savings to hit that 10K goal in a year's time. Completing step 1 ensures you know how much you need to save and whether or not you have the income to do so. Much like the Steves in building Apple One, reviewing your personal spending helps you prove the concept of whether or not you have the disposable income to save 10K in a year. Follow me. The concept of separate but equal, though intended to convey fairness, mirrors the often unequal treatment between our checking and our savings accounts and our personal finances. You establish 2 distinct accounts for separate reasons. Checking is the vibrant, bustling hub of your financial life, the place where money flows freely, inward and outward for everyday purchases and bills. It reflects your immediate needs and desires. Savings, on the other hand, is the quiet, less active account. It's important because it's a place where your future dreams go to grow. But like the fallacy of separate but equal, the reality often falls short. While you acknowledge the importance of both accounts, you prioritize checking, pouring a majority of your financial resources into its immediate demand, while savings receives the leftovers, smaller portions, and is often seen as an afterthought. So just as separate but equal was a facade for inequality, the imbalance between how you treat your checking and savings account reveals a similar truth about your financial priorities. Did you catch the metaphor? Step 2 to saving $10,000 in a year is to treat checking and savings accounts as separate but truly equal. Separate meaning you understand the different purposes each account serves. Your checking account is where your present life happens. Your savings account is where your future life prepares. Equal means placing a balanced importance on both. Completing step 2 ensures you know how to treat your savings account. It also means employing a little principle that I like to call the min greater than max concept. Here's how it works. The minimum amount saved every month is greater than the maximum amount spent every month. Let me run that back. The minimum amount you save and invest on a monthly basis must be greater than the maximum amount you spend on lifestyle purchases on a monthly basis. Doing this ensures that you are living in the present while preparing for the future. It's that you are giving your savings account the same tender love, care, and attention your checking account naturally receives. Archimedes once said, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So if point A is $0 and point B is 10,000, your routine is that straight line, making sure you get from point A to point B in the shortest amount of time. Step 3 to saving 10K easily is to rely on routine. Routines are going to be your regular and habitual behaviors that make saving 10K effortless and simple. And the beauty is that there's only one routine you need to set up to save $10,000 in a year. Automate your savings. 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 Whether you decide to transfer $193 a week or do a one lump sum of $834 a month, the key is to make it automatic. Setting up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account on a routine and habitual basis. Now, I call it a routine because the transfers happen over and over again, but the reality is that you only have to set it up once. How easy is that? Rely on this routine when your motivation fades. Rely on this routine when the discipline dissolves. Rely on this routine when you want to take the vacation of a lifetime through South Africa and spend $4,627. Rely on this routine all the time, every time. In other words, automating your savings must become a non-negotiable. This goal of saving 10K, you're doing it over 365 days. And inevitably, within those 365 days, things are going to happen, things are going to come up. You have to be so steadfast in that goal of saving 10K and making those routine transfers that you almost think of that as like another bill. The first time I saved $10,000, I actually had just graduated from college, was still living at home, and was paying about $1,500 in student loan debt on a monthly basis. Crazy. I know. And during that time, I was like, if I'm shelling out $1,500 to Sally Mae every month, I want to at least pay myself something for all my hard work. What I realized was that me setting up those automatic transfers to my savings account, I almost had to think of it, not almost, I had to think of it as another bill. It was not something that I could save $834 this month, but not $834 the next month, and then save $200 the following month. That transfer was non-negotiable. The amount was non-negotiable. And then I ended up teaching myself how to live off of what was left. And at that time, I just started my career and was making like $50,000, $51,000 a year salary. So, sweetie, it wasn't much. Yeah, do the math. Crazy. Matter of fact, don't do the math. Making those automatic and routine transfers takes the decision-making factor out of it. And oftentimes, having to decide whether or not we're going to save or spend can often be the biggest downfall to us reaching our goals. So completing step 3 ensures you know how to save $10K in a year. Implementing these 3 steps will make saving $10,000 in a year simple and easy. And if you're wondering, where can I cut back on to actually reach my goal? Watch this video where I share 5 things you should never waste money on. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, stay safe. Peace.